morning. It's day 2 of Alabama turkey season, March 26th, and I roasted a turkey Saturday evening, a few days before the season started, and we're going to see if he's still in the area or if he's still alive this morning. That's the only one that I know of here. So we're going to go after him, and if he doesn't want to play, then we'll move around and try to strike one up somewhere. But I got all day today. I ain't got anywhere to be today besides home for dinner. So we're going to give it a good try today. Maybe a hunt till lunch, eat lunch, come back after lunch, hunt till whenever kind of day. So we're going to see. Or we may not hear a thing. But ideally we got one on the tailgate by 7 or 8, and we're back home for breakfast. So either way, good luck to all you turkey hunters out there. Alright, it's the first pot. I didn't hear that gobbler that I heard 3 or 4 days ago in the evening, but I got several hens to get fired up. Had them fly off the roost to the hill below me, working the hillside. Thankfully they stayed down there and I was able to slip out without bumping any of them. I got them aggravated with my new trumpet call, but I got that last night from Mr. Michael Allgood. He makes calls for, his brand is M&W Turkey Calls, or M&W Calls, I believe. And for anybody that's ever tried a trumpet call, you can imagine for me to have to do it the next day, the amount of practice I had to put in last night and on the way here this morning. So it is, but it sounds enough like a turkey to have a bunch of hens fly down to you. So hopefully it'll sound good enough to a gobbler to make him want to come to me. So I'm gonna go try somewhere else. Sorry I'm breathing so hard. That freaking hill is big. Either way, I'll holler at you. Yeah, you. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Oh, 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 oh. this one took a little bit of work. It's up here on this ridge top. Oh, it's 11:16. I probably took the shot at 11. And what happened is I struck out everywhere else, and I got up on this ridge top, and I've actually got a brand new call. I got it last night at church from a fella named Michael Allgood, and he makes turkey calls and duck calls, and he gave me a black walnut trumpet call. And for anybody that's ever blown a trumpet call, you'll know these things are a little bit tough to use at first. So I had to do a lot of practice last night and this morning on the way here to even try it on the hunt. But he did want me to try it and see if I could get one to gobble, and I definitely struck him with that, and got him to gobble a couple times while he was in range with it. I had to close the deal with a mouth call, though. Y'all will see in the video. I pretty much, once I heard the bird, I'm on the ridge top, he's down in the holler, right? And I hear him. He's struck by himself, I guess. And I answered him with the trumpet a couple times, no gobble, and then finally he did answer it. And I sit down. I sit down. I'm like, okay, he heard me for sure. So I'm gonna sit down and see if he comes to me, and he never did. Which this is important later on. I sat down, sat up for about 10 minutes, and I realized he was going a different direction with his gobbles. And I walked on down the ridge just a little bit more down the logging road, and I heard other hens. What I thought was other hens ended up being my uncle, and I guess my cousin was with them. I didn't know they were there either. They said that was them. I texted them to see if that was them, and we were kind of in a predicament. The bird sounded like it was going their way, and by the time I set up before I ever texted them. I thought it was hens, so I was like, I better sit down before they come my way and bust me right here. And I thought it was hens. Went in there and sat down, and next thing I know, this turkey, if I'm facing the hens down the ridge, there's a saddle in the ridge, and I'm facing the hens, and he gobbles right here now, and he's heading back up behind me. I'm like, so I flipped the tree, and I'm looking down the logging road back away from my uncle, right? And he's gobbling at him, he's gobbling at me. Like I used my trumpet call several times, used the mouth call at Black Label game call, Ghost Cut, several times, and the bird came up around me. Before he was within 50 yards, I could hear him. I could hear him down there walking. He didn't want to move for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and I see him cross the logging road at about 50 yards. I didn't have time for a shot, and I don't think I would have taken a 50-yard shot anyways. But when he flipped around on me, he got on out and sounded like he was going, like if I would have sat down, if I just would have stayed where I first sat down, I believe with all my heart, I'd have killed the bird, 15 minutes later. But I didn't. I thought he was going a different direction. I thought he was moving on away, and I was going to try to get ahead of him on the ridge while he was still in the bottom. And sure enough, the sucker goes towards where I was sitting originally. So I sit there, and I had to tell myself 15 times in the next 45 minutes just to be patient. Several times he'd pop his head up, and I could see him out there at about 60 yards. He'd pop his head up, look around, go back around. He'd gobble at every woodpecker and crow, and my uncle back there, he'd gobble at me every time. And I don't know what the time lapse was, maybe 45 minutes, an hour, or something like that. I'm nearly full body cramps at this point, And finally, he stops gobbling, and I see him breaking to my right. I'm like, all right, well, maybe he's just going to go around some of the trash and get back in line with me. No, he starts walking down the hill, which, unbeknownst to me, was a freaking mountain. And it was a steep drop-off, like a cliff nearly. And he's working the edge of this cliff, and I hear him. He's coming around to my right, and I'm like, he's about to go around to my uncle. If he gets past me, he's got him. And long story short, that last time he gobbled, like when they get that close, he was 15 yards when he last gobbled. It's like that, like you can hear that thunder in their gobble, that rattle in their chest. And boy, it was close. It's addicting as it can get. But he got on around me, and I started out facing this way, came on around, and by the end of it, I was just sitting on my butt, no back up against the tree. You'll see when I shoot, that turkey load nearly knocks me on my back. And I end up having to do a full, probably 270 to finally shoot him. And I had to pull my gun through some vines right there at the last second, and it bumped the vines. I thought I may have spooked him. I saw him stick his head up once. I pull the gun up. He sticks it up again. I take the shot. Next thing I know, he's doing backflips down the cliff, and here my big end goes down the cliff, and that's my buddy Michael right there. Anyways, there goes my big end flying down the hill. I'm surprised I didn't break my neck, but what a hunt! Midday gobbler, and this is the second day of the season, and I'm thankful. Now, what really matters is what's coming up. Not this weekend, but next weekend. We're celebrating Easter, right? Old buddy called me this morning, right at shooting light. Kendall Bennett called me. I was like, what in the world, does he need me to come pull him out or something? He called me, and all he wanted to do was say, hey, we need to, it ain't got to be for me, it ain't got to be for, but I'd love to hear All Hail King Jesus on Easter Sunday. And we talked about it, just how grateful we are, because it's kind of like that parable where the owner has a vineyard, right? And that owner comes around, and he's watched this fig tree grow the last couple of years, and the owner of this is a Jesus parable, by the way, I'm not just making this up. He comes around, he said, this tree every year for 3 years it hasn't put off fruit. It's time to cut it down and cast it away. But the keeper of the vineyard, which would be representative of Jesus and the owner of the vineyard, the Father, that keeper of the vineyard, that gardener, he said, hold on. He said, just give it some more time. Give it another year. I'm going to dig out around the roots, and I'm going to fertilize it, and I'm going to grow it. I'm going to work with this. That's exactly what Jesus does for us. He's up there right now mediating for us. But I don't think people understand. You can't just be good and get to heaven. That's not a merit-based system. If it was a merit-based system, we'd all be bound for hell. Jesus died so that we could live. He rose so that we could live forever. Without Jesus, we're never going to be righteous enough to enter through the gates of heaven. You have to be perfect and holy and righteous to stand before the Father. And none of us can be that. Not one of us. That's why you need Jesus. If you haven't thought about that in a long time, you need to. You need to start thinking about that, because it's spring, and I'm seeing these leaves change. I'm seeing the leaves change in this world. You know, we're close, and I'm not trying to scare anybody into heaven or accepting Jesus. I'm just saying there will be an end someday. And it says in John chapter 14 verse 6, he said, I am the way, and this is Jesus. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. He is the only way, straight and narrow path, and he's the only way we could ever get to heaven. So if you're out there and you think you're just doing good, you got a case of do better, just realize, and that's great and all. That looks good in this world. But I'm telling you, if you don't know Jesus, you're not going to know heaven one day. And, you know, I try to start out these videos with the Bible verse and everything, but I just thought I'd share that with y'all today, because I'm thankful. Man, I prayed this morning as I'm drinking my coffee on the way here. I prayed that, God, I'm thankful. I'm so thankful for your creation, but it can never be greater than the Creator. All this makes me think of is God. You know, I'm not one of these guys, well, I see God in the woods and I see God in the turkey. I'm like, I do. I know He created it. I'm going to tell you where I find God is in my Bible. Read your scripture. Know God, learn God, love God. The greatest commandment, the one that sums up the entire law, is love God and love your neighbor as yourself. maybe we should give it a try. I love my neighbor. I definitely love God. I love turkey hunting too. I want to love my wife. God, wife, family, turkey hunting. Neighbor, turkey hunting. Probably gonna get in trouble now with my wife. She knows I love her. Anyways, just thought I'd share that with y'all today while I sit here with him. He gave me a run for my money on my patience this morning. But that's when you know they're a good gobbler. That's when you know. Everything checked out, you know. You come back around. I got on this ridge top after 9 o'clock, 9:30ish. According to theory, if you can theorize a turkey hunt, according to theory, after about 8:45, 9 o'clock, they've pretty much done what they're going to do with the hens they flew down with, and they're looking for more. And looking for love, got this one on a tree limb. Thanks for watching.